Hello and welcome to Ronther Racing. I'm Gareth and I don't normally do this sort of commentary. This is a reasonably long race, so I'm not promising that I will be constantly entertaining for all of it. But basically what happened is some people watching this may know that in my day job I'm a video editor, and doing that I have to record a lot of stuff to use in editing videos, right? Sampling bits and pieces there, little memes, little clips like that. And I use OBS to do that. And so I often have the mic muted. And sometimes I forget, especially when I'm not streaming. When I just throw something up like this to record a race, that mistake can happen, and that's what happened. So I have a whole race here with just game sounds. So I thought, why not just watch the race back myself and record some commentary. So I'm going to press play on my recording here and start watching it. The lights have just come up. I'm going to count them down as they come in. And I'm just going to take you through the race. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And as we go off, I get a little bit of a spin to the right. And then that guy goes straight into the wall on the left. It was quite a chaotic start. I actually spent an hour practicing Road America rather than Road Atlanta, so I was absolutely not prepared for this, hence I qualified so far back. But I enjoy this car, and I know a lot of other people spend less time in this car than I do in this community, so I feel pretty confident getting a decent result just by not crashing and having a okay consistent pace. So I'm in the Audi, I believe 2014 Audi LMP1. There's Audis and Toyotas in this, and then a selection of GTs, quite a wide selection of GTs. I never even look at them because I never consider driving them. These servers are often pretty heavily LMP favoured because this is the SGP community Le Mans series that we keep doing. It's super fun, I always enjoy it. But the majority of people on SGP spend a lot of time playing the Assetto Corsa games, as they're the only ones that are supported on there, as we get another spinner and someone going off, so we jump up a few more places. And because of that, a lot of people have spent a lot of time in ACC driving the GTs there. And so you get a lot less of them wanting to do it in AC as well. The LMPs is something different. You can see behind me there, and my relative in the bottom right is Julio. He's a good friend of mine from ACCSS. Good to see him in here. He's often in a few of these races. Another LMP spinning. And I actually make a huge mistake there, off and into the wall. Stay on the right side to let Julio past. But I also get taken by Carista. I was up in 6th for a moment before I made that mistake. I feel like that's the biggest mistake I made in this race, but I may make another mistake later. I'm not sure. It is, I believe, a 40-minute race, I think. But yeah, so I haven't practiced this track at all. Luckily, I did a GT3 race in this in R Factor a couple months ago when I learnt the track. And since then, I've been on here a couple times in iRacing. That R Factor race gave me confidence to go into iRacing and do a few races there. So I reasonably know the circuit. And that's a big one as well. I'd literally just hopped into the qualifying. It was like 20-minute qualifying and like 10-minute practice or 15-minute practice, and I just had to... actually, I think it was 15 and 30. 15-minute practice, 30-minute qualifying. And that was all the time I've ever driven this car and this circuit until today. So as you can see the map in the top right, the LMP has started to stretch out a bit, but I'm still in sort of a top clump. The top 3 breaking away, but I'm just behind the train that basically goes up to 4th, and then there's a big dive back to some of the further back people. Nice big lobby here. I hope the UI is good, by the way. I normally try to, when I'm doing recordings try to show the wheel, because I feel like it's better for watching most of the time. But this is the car that I've done the most competitively in before I started doing that, and that I have also done the least competitively since I started doing that. And so I don't like the feeling of driving it like that. There's Justin Clerk, another driver from ACCSS, is just off there. Porsche GT3 driver in the ACCSS Championship. Good to see him in another server as well. He's a lot faster than me, so even with that mistake, he's gonna get ahead of me. Julio is a little bit faster than me. I think we can match about the same pace in a lot of races, but he does a lot more practice than me. He's the sort of person who will really focus on one or two events, whereas I'm the sort of person who'll do all sorts of events. Like I did, like in this race I had no practice, but even the practice I did like an hour driving around on Road America or something, probably not even an hour. But Julio's the sort of person who will try to do like only 1 or 2 races a week so he can make sure he's prepared for each one, sort of thing. So he normally beats me because of that. I'm not saying, you know, if I practice as much as him I would definitely beat him. I probably wouldn't. And I definitely should practice more for some of these things, but you know, I enjoy the sort of pick up and go nature of a little bit of practice. Justin Clerk right on my backside now. I don't use virtual mirrors in AC, and I'm not certain, like, I know I turned it off originally with my old PC because it was a big FPS save to turn it off as we come up on the first GT3 back markers here. Or maybe GTE, I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure which one, but Rob Bedford, who I believe is also in ACCSS. I've definitely seen his name around, but I might have just seen his name around in general SGP servers. Yeah, so I've had a bit of a rush early on, talking about just a bit of everything. Got to try and sort of focus down and pick some topics, perhaps. So the SGP Le Mans races, I'm a big fan of these. Getting big servers like this is so good. I was doing them at the start when we only had like 10 of us in a server, split into 2 categories. I'm still a bit sad that the GTE doesn't get a bit more love sometimes, because it does feel like most of the servers are mostly LMP, but I can understand why. In ACCSS, when we're doing our AC races, we're thinking of avoiding doing any GTEs or GT3s in AC for that exact reason, as I come past this red Lamborghini. I do like this track. Especially in cars like this. I've done it in some things like the Mazda and some sort of lower aero, less grippy things, and it can be a little bit terrifying in some of those, I think. But when you have the full course and you're in the big aero beasts like this, it's a really nice track. It works surprisingly well for these sort of endurances, I think. Or not endurances, but you know, these sort of multi-class bigger events, considering sort of how short it is. And the hill gives it, you know, a lot of character as we come up to it here. I think this is the place where I lose the most time, is on the hill both ways. Especially there, like that one as well. Looking back at it, I remember it being stupid, but it feels even more stupid looking back at it, because it's entirely a confidence thing, right? Like, I think I went off once there in qualifying, and I never really got the feeling of how fast you can go over there. But as I went through this, I just knew you could do more. But one thing I've got into the habit of, because I think it really helps with my style of sort of like minimal practice hopping into servers racing, is not trying to push in a race. If I haven't done enough practice to take that corner flat out, I don't take that corner flat out, right? Unless it's very clear. Couple of... Ooh, that was a little bit close there. Be careful getting past there. Kevin Roos ahead of us. I recognise him as well, but not sure where from. It's really nice to keep seeing some of these names constantly as Clerk and Giuliano push up a little bit far. But you can see Clerk has already passed Giuliano. I think that was him going off in the dust there. So yeah, Clerk definitely a lot faster than us. I think if I'd had practice here, I would have been able to keep up with Giulio. But I am not. I don't think so with Clerk at all. I think as soon as Clerk got the hang of not binning it, he was going to be a lot faster than me. So who's that? Who just passed? That's Anthony Clark. I remember Anthony Clark. He was one of the. He's the first LMP that we've lapped so far. So clearly not had enough practice here. Saw him a few times. I recognise that name from this lobby. I love how much. Once you realise how much of the curb you can safely take there, that corner is really exciting. And this now has got to the part where I love these servers for these lobbies, these races, the multi-class. Because if this was only LMPs, then I would have lapped one guy, and there would be no one in front of me up until the hill, and no one behind me until the start of this straight, right? And I'd just be in open air, just running, just hot lapping essentially. But being able to be in these servers with the other classes means that I always just have something to deal with, right? I've got this BMW ahead of me, got to dive around him, make sure that's nice and clean, nice and safe. And so you're just like constantly coming upon cars to lap, or if you're in the GT3, constantly being lapped by these faster cars. And it just gives you that little extra to think about, those little extra adjustments that you're trying to do constantly. Which is also why I like the hybrid system in these cars. I'm not sure I'd want one much more complicated than this. Oh, an awkward position there. And I think the Audi thought I was going to go to the right. This is a problem I found quite a bit in this server actually, and I think comes down to just people not being used to multi-class racing as much. That was just a silly mistake. I mean, if you're in multi-class racing like this, it's important to just stick to your line. All you need to do as a lower class in a multi-class race is be as consistent as possible. That's all you need to do. There's no reason to try and dive out the way. Right? You don't have a blue flag. Oh, braking a little too hard into there. Letting Andrea past, unfortunately. There's no reason to dive out the way, and we actually have a few issues with that later in this race. People trying to get out the way and putting themselves in front of the LMP. So what you've got to remember is an LMP is going to be planning on how to take you before you're even in the corner. So if you're then in the corner and you suddenly move over to the other side of the track, well, I actually just followed him straight off there. Big hop over the curb. That was not good. He tried to wait to let me pass there, but then realised that I was also off the track. And so I then waited a little bit to let him stay ahead. And now we have Bram right up on us. And Bram is an interesting one because Bram is... he's one of the head honchos over at SGP in a lot of these races. He sets up all these races. And he is faster than me and has always been faster than me. However, I actually have, not quite anymore, but I had for a little while a winning record against him in these races, and I still have a pretty close record with him. I think he's 1 or 2 up on me now. And the reason is just that like he's far less consistent than me. He's much faster, but he just cannot keep it on the track like I do. And so you'll see it happen in this race even, like he's right up on my chuff now. He's clearly going to get past. There he actually just absolutely slams into me. A little bit of a mistake there, but you know, no harm, no foul. It doesn't matter too much, just door to door. But you'll see, like, this isn't the last time we're going to see Bram, even though he's absolutely shooting off ahead of me. He's going to be here again. Oh, until I made a big mistake later, I think I was pretty reasonably close to Bram for almost the whole race because, again, like I said it to him after the race, and he totally agreed. He seems to be so fast when he's behind me, and then as soon as he passes me, I just see him in the grass like every other corner. There he is, passing some GT3s. We're up against the red Lamborghini again. Very small track, so we will see cars like this quite often. That red Lamborghini has just been lapped by these GTEs. That's Ben Coa right in front of us in the Porsche. He's always in the GT3s in this race. He's just a GT3 kind of guy, and I actually just totally bin it trying to take GTEs there, getting too impatient to pass there. Entirely my fault. I'm normally such a big proponent of being patient in these multi-class races, but I messed it up there. But yeah, Ben is a guy who's in the Sim series of us, and he's a good guy. He's a very fast guy, so I'm gonna do my best not to lose him any time. Right behind him, he actually taps me a tiny bit there, just braking a little more than he expected, because obviously I'm not doing super well there. So I dive in front of his opponent in the S's, and he's right up behind him again, so I don't feel like I did too bad there, didn't disrupt their race too much. Now I'm back down the straight, another proper backmarker GT3 in the white Ferrari here, and you can see Bram is still just ahead of us. Even though we've had so much trouble, look, I'm locking up into half these corners, you know, haven't got my braking point sussed at all. Bram is still only just ahead of us because just inconsistencies. Like, I haven't been being consistent either, but I just haven't made any too many huge mistakes at least. I've hopped over the hill a couple of times and had to take to that little escape road. Oh, big slide there. Literally just... and this is still more consistent than Bram somehow, amazingly. Very slow over the hill still. That's going to be happening all race, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much more. This is where you see like a lot of those little tiny mistakes that would have been smoothed over if I'd had that like hour of practice here. Unfortunately, as of recording this, another Le Mans race has been and gone, but I didn't manage to get there. It was at Sebring, which I don't know the track, so I would have had to learn it anyway, and I didn't have the time to get on a server and learn the track. But I'll see where their next race is and hopefully compete in that as well. Ooh. This is one that like I feel really confident in there, like pretty often, and then every now and again I just make a silly mistake. But you can actually see there Bram has managed to get himself behind me again, and even watching this back, I don't know how. Like, I missed it the first time and I missed it this time. Like, I don't know how he managed to get behind me there, but he must have gone off at some point and I just did not see him like in the wall or something, because he's right behind me again. Samuel Colombo also coming up behind me. And you can see on the relative there, Noah Matamona just overtook him. Noah Matamona, another guy from the Competizione Sim series. Great guy. Love Noah Matamona. He's also, me, him and Ben have been in this Le Mans series from the beginning, from the first race we did in Mugello, doing this thing. And Matamona, Noah is always a very clean racer, very good with overtaking you. I've always had good times with him. So there's Anthony Clark again in his Toyota that we're going to get past. You have to be so patient on that corner, and I always try to push slightly further and just that tiny bit too much, and you're oversteering big wide. Coming up now to a GTE lapping an Audi there. And see, this time I'm not going to make the same mistake. I don't try to take the second, I just bump him behind him. I actually think I get tapped again on the back there by Audi. Not quite expecting me to be quite so slow. Nice little bit of boost. Throw me past him on the start-finish straight. And at this point we still have Brom behind us actually, and it's these sort of points where I manage to keep him behind me for so long, where I start feeling like, you know, maybe I could actually, you know, keep him behind me. Oh, and Ferrari just absolutely abandoning the track there. A little bit scary to just suddenly see that. Look at that. big run out there. That's something that I don't think I got really the hang of. The whole of this race is getting a good exit out of that corner. Because look at that, I got so much more time on that straight by just turning in more early, rather than sort of hooking it round quite as much, not carrying as much speed through the corner, but just blasting out of it. A little bit too much as it turns out at the bottom of the hill, almost lose it there. Yeah, that's something that I was meaning to say earlier, and I think I probably got a bit distracted from, is I think I was talking about the mirrors and the UI. I stopped using the mirrors because obviously it was on my old computer hardware. It was killing me a bit having the virtual mirror there, and I never put it back on because in this race, this is the car I race online the most, and in this, like, I just used the little screen there in the top left. It is worth noting that since I'm getting my new computer, I have been racing on triples. There's another guy who tries to jump out of the way a little bit too much. I was happy to just follow him through the top corner and then hybrid boost past him on the exit. But he slowed down so much in the corner that he actually slowed me down more by trying to let me pass early, because then I had to slow down extra not to hit the back of him and to be able to turn at a more acute angle. So yeah, I'm on triples since I got my new computer, so I can see a lot more out the sides than you can in this recording. It also means I can see the wing mirrors a little bit, so and yeah, I can just see all the mirrors, so it's I can get a bit more view, and I've just not turned it on. If I did more sort of competitive racing in a different car, I probably would turn it on. But I kind of like the minimal UI experience. I'm someone into big UIs. Oh, is this the one? No, this isn't the one. I was just following the Nissan through there. Didn't want to push my way past, so now I've got Matamona and someone else on me. I realised that this is Matamona. Oh, and he actually just like slams into me there. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure that was my fault. Maybe a little bit of both of us, but like, I obviously locked up there, which didn't help. He was pretty close to me already, and I tried to sort of stay wide to give him the place. I think I was so worried after I'd been stuck behind that GT3 that I thought like, oh my god, this guy's gonna overtake me. Then I realised it was Noah, and I was like, oh no, he should overtake me. I need to let him past. And I think I made the same mistake that I keep saying that these GT3s are making. And then here, I actually let this guy pass. Oh, there's Noah. Okay, good. There's Noah going on his way. Let him past. Wayne Morgan is this Audi behind me. And then Noah actually gets caught up behind all these GT3s right in front of me, which I found funny. Dive through here with Noah. Then this Ferrari. Oh, I sort of got a bit greedy there. Thought I could follow Noah through again, which was not happening. That's fine. Right, once again I'm stuck behind a GT3 here, but not much you can do. You can see I don't hang out as much normal, and this is something that's going to come up again later, but that's a really good way to take that. If you do get stuck behind a GT3 there's nothing you can do down in the dip, but once you come up from the dip, if you just slow down a little bit extra there, a little bit more than you usually would, and take a more acute angle into that corner, don't go on the exit curve like you normally do, you can hybrid boost straight past them. And yeah, it's a really nice way to get past, and that will come up again later. But yeah, I like having this sort of minimal UI. I'm the sort of person who gets annoyed with UIs, because like part of me wants a more minimal UI and part of me wants to have all the information. So I sort of, it's one of the best things about triple monitors, weirdly, has been being able to put a load of extra information off to the side, so it's there when I need it or want it. But it's not always in my face, as we get Bram right up behind us as well. Caius as well, behind him, trying to lap us, although he just spun there. I didn't notice that at the time, but I just saw him spinning behind Bram there. So now I'm stuck behind the Ferrari. I think this is the one. Is this the one? So I'm trying to get in early. The Ferrari brakes extra, and I'm like, oh no. And then Bram hits me. You see, because exactly as I was saying before, I tried to slow down extra to cut in tight and get past him, but he tried to slow down extra and cut in tight to let me past wide. And because I wasn't expecting that, I still tried to go tight. I then had to lock up my brakes and dive wide to get past him. And so then Bram, who was behind me, probably didn't even see that there was a GTE there, trying to go the regular way through, ended up smashing into me while I was diving out of the way of the GTE in front of me, and he was trying to go wide. So that was an awkward little incident that we had a little laugh about afterwards. Very typical multi-class incident there that you can't really do too much about. Luckily the damage in AC is pretty tame, so it didn't ruin his race. If that was in iRacing, Bram would have been absolutely wrecked by that. Again, not getting those brakes right over the hill at all. That was something that I really struggled with throughout this race, was the braking at the top of the hill there. That's the sort of thing that I would have done a lot of testing with in practice if I'd practiced on the right track. So yeah, this UI is something that will probably change a lot throughout my time doing AC races. If you look at on this channel, there is another race in this car at Le Mans that I had a really good race, one of my favourite races, so it will be in my top picks, Romford's favourite playlist or whatever it's called. But here's Clark coming up to lap me. Remember him fighting me for position earlier, now he's flashing me to get by. So I go nice on the inside, let him past. Bram now right up behind me again. And he's going to do the same move around the side that he did last time, but this time give me enough berth and not go into me, so shout out for that. And now I'm still sitting in 10th, still happily in the top 10, which, considering there were more than 20 LMPs in this, and I qualified second to last out of the LMPs, I'm reasonably happy with. You know, with pretty much no practice, I think that's okay. So we have now a whole train of LMPs stuck behind this GTE. And this is getting even more awkward as well now, because obviously these 4 LMPs that you're seeing here, including me, are actually all on different laps, and then obviously the GTE is on a different lap as well. So this LMP here is obviously Anthony Clark, so I'm a lap ahead of him. The next LMP up is Bram, so I'm on the same lap as him. But then the next LMP up is Clark, who's obviously a lap ahead of us. And we got a little bit of an awkward space there where Clark goes to lap the GT and then tries to let me lap him as well. But it all goes alright. Bram actually unlaps himself from Clark there, which is an interesting decision. I think when you're someone like Bram, who is fast but has just binned himself a few times, you do come up upon people who have lapped you and think, you know, I could unlap myself here. Because normally it's true. But as you can see there, by fastest laps, I'm not sure he will stay ahead of Clark, and Clark has repassed him and headed further on. Bram actually just ahead of us again, so it looks like he made some sort of mistake. Oh, still just too much speed in there, see, I'm trying to make that cut-in line that I talked about earlier, but it's just not happening. So anyway, back to the UI. This sort of thing's going to happen a lot if I do any more of these, I'm sure. But yeah, if you look at my old one, it was a lot worse UI then. I didn't have Sim Hub then, so I was using a lot more default stuff, and some of it was really bad, using like the original real time, which is really ugly, the map display, which is a good, useful app, but it's really ugly compared to this map, which I think is really nice. The relative I'm using here isn't the prettiest, but it's not as ugly as the real-time one, so it's okay. I did have a really nice looking iRacing styled one, but for some reason that wasn't working when I last used it in the server. I might try it again at some point, because it is prettier than this, but this is just good old faithful. It works everywhere, every sim, every server I've been in it works with AI, works with real people, so I stick with this for now. I do, for myself, when I'm streaming have more on. Like I said, just off the edge, I have a standings page just to the left of my mirror. Oh, that's bad. I'm trying to here do a weird 3-point turn, even though I don't have anything behind me. I just don't want to back onto the track, so I'm just doing an awkward 3-point turn at the side of the track to try and get back on. Luckily, don't actually lose a place, but now you can see that the next car behind me, who's right in my mirror, is Samuel Colombo. So without that mistake, I could have been well ahead of him still, and may have even managed to finish ahead of him, but that mistake really wrecked me, and now I'm right behind this GT while he's alongside me, so there wasn't much I could do there, just got out of it. Saw the situation, and the lower class car was gonna wreck me anyway, so I just accepted the wreck. And now Colombo has jumped ahead of David Petchal and Anthony Clark. Anthony Clark now 2 laps behind me, David Petchal a single lap behind me, so again we've got 4 LMPs here on 3 different laps, which is always fun. Trying to get around this GT here. Go around the side of Anthony Clark because he made a little mistake trying to lap the GT a bit too enthusiastically. And again, brake early, try and swing on in on the inside. Audi there makes a mistake and spins off. 2 people spinning off there as well. David Petchal looks like in LMP also spun off, was the other guy who spun off. So I now have a little bit of time to set ahead of Colombo. Colombo, you can see his best lap time. Only a second higher than mine, which normally for me actually means I can keep up with people, because my lap times are normally a lot closer to my best lap time than others, because I'm just really bad at hot lapping, so I don't set that good best lap times, I think. But yeah, I don't remember if I kept up with Colombo or something. I believe I do get top 10 in this race, spoiler actually, but I can't remember how. So there's probably some more death coming up. Ben Koe, we can see at the top of my relative now, I believe that is the top GT car. I'll have to go inside there a little bit. Not really confident on going through there in any other way, and the McLaren behind me actually spins. Also not confident going through there side by side, it seems. But yeah, I'm not sure how this goes best. I feel like for a viewer's perspective, maybe it's nicer to see the standings and to have the relative left for the driver, but I'm not sure. The reason I kept the standings off here and the relative on was partially just because I don't know which will be better, and also partially, oh, very wide again, partially because you can see it fits a lot better. Like that relative fits nicely on the dash of my car, whereas the standing would be on the mirror. You can't even see all the mirror, but what you can see of the mirror, you know, it's a lot better not being covered by the standings, so that's the reason why you get what you get in that respect. And then I have obviously stuff like tyre temps and fuel load. Holy hops, Batman. Another big mistake by me. So it turns out I made a couple of big mistakes here, as we see Stefan Kutnik coming past. Anthony Clark gets past again. This is why I remember Anthony Clark so much, as Julio laps me. Yeah, Anthony, I did a Bram near the end. I just had to keep overtaking Anthony Clark. And there he was. There was Colombo spinning on the main straight. And he's now just been lapped by Noah Matamona again, who's coming up to lap me for the second time. Oh, that was big bad by me. A little bit of lag there on my screen. Noah Matamona almost crashing into me again. Definitely my fault that time, 100%, but it gets past me cleanly and is now on to lap the guys ahead of me. Now so many different laps of LMPs all together, and GTEs on different laps, like all sorts of carnage here. I love it. This is why these races can get so cool, so interesting. Yeah, obviously I've got fuel calc and everything on the right hand side as well, so that's good. But I think this is right. These are sort of the 3 things that you really want a map. Oh, 4 things, I guess: a map, a car radar, sidekick down there to show my inputs and everything. I know a lot of people like to see your inputs, so you can see how bad I am. You can also see obviously my deployment, which is really nice, and gears and speed and stuff. My lap times. yeah, so I think this is a nice UI layout. It sort of gives you everything you need to know during the race. Can't actually see Colombo anymore. It looks like he's made another mistake and fallen quite far back. He's down just at the end of the start-finish straight now, as I let KS pass me and get back on the chase of Noah. Really messy through there. Holy, see, I'm 2 seconds down already, and I'm not even halfway through the lap yet. It's been a really bad lap for me so far. So we're coming up on the last 5 minutes now. Maybe a good time to start reflecting upon what happened in this race. It was a fun race. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this car. I enjoyed the circuit. I enjoyed this format. I prefer if there's some pit stops involved, but it's still fun to just blast around the track. Obviously 3 big mistakes, 3 big spins. If I hadn't have made those, I would have been a lot further up. I don't know if I would have actually been a place further up though, is the thing, the crazy thing. I think you can see 8 for 9th place. They're not. They're only sort of half a lap, maybe just over half a lap ahead of me, so maybe I would have been closer to them if I hadn't have spun, and you know, that would have been fun. But considering how little practice I had on this, I'm not actually too upset at all. They come on a heavy pack of GTs here. This is 19th there, but 14th and 13th, Raf and Ben fighting for, I assume, the lead of GT. Luckily I can roar past them on the straight, so I don't need to get in the way of their battle at all. GT there makes a bit of a mistake, but comes back on the track cleanly. But it's just going to be probably 3 more laps to go, something like that. So Julio in 7th has actually lapped me, so only 9th and 8th ahead of me on my lap. And interesting, this is one of those ones that showed sort of the difference in skill in here, because the top GT 3s were only like, the top GT was 13th and I was 10th, but there were definitely more than 13 LMPs in the server. You know, obviously a couple of people left, a couple of people just not doing well, driving around right at the back, having some big wrecks. So interesting setup here. Yeah, I really enjoy these races, and I'm hoping not to literally only do the LMP stuff on here. Hopefully today I'm going to do some stuff with the American ACCSS guys in AC, some fun stuff, and maybe get one of those up tomorrow or something. Yeah, at this point in the race, it's sort of just bring it home time, really, isn't it? Can't see anyone on my relative who's really racing me. 11th is the closest person behind me, and he's about half a lap down on me. 9th is the closest person ahead of me, and he's about half a lap up on me. 8th and 9th, actually, the people ahead of me have just lapped the person behind me, so literally half a lap ahead and behind me, and I'm just kind of cruising home in 10th. I know they're actually, like, obviously this is just a single race, so there's no points, so to speak, but I always think of things as if they are the FIA sort of standard system, right? As if I'm going to be getting a single championship point for coming last, you know. So I always, the top 10 is where I like to be in a lot of these races. Top half as well. Being top half is always nice. And yeah, I'm not sure when the next one of these is, or where, more importantly, the next one of these is. But if it's somewhere I know and I can get some good practice in. It turns out I've already missed the thing I was going to do with the Americas guys tonight. Oh, damn, that's annoying. It actually is happening right now, I believe. Oh no, it was 2 AM, so it's 3 AM for me right now where I am, so degenerate hours fully on. But I'm definitely going to do some stuff with them soon, because they've been doing some really fun, interesting stuff in AC. So I'll get some of that up. I'll get some more serious stuff up. I might get a video of... the next video on here will either be some iRacing stuff, if I have a good race in the USF ovals, or it will be our first race at Imola, the new Imola that's just coming to ACC SS. It'll be zero practice, just as soon as the update comes up, we'll be hopping in and having some fun. As soon as I finished work and the server is up. And then Monza 1966 full course with the Formula 1 cars, old Formula 1 cars, that's going to be super fun, so really excited to get that on the channel. I'm going to try and post more consistent stuff because I haven't been doing that, so hopefully I'll see a lot of you around more often. Like I said, it's going to be a few competitive races like this in AC where I'm taking a bit more seriously, a load of fun races, hopefully doing interesting stuff, some ACCSS stuff, and then iRacing, any good iRacing races I get. I'll try to only do decent races, and I thought this was pretty fun. There was I had a good time doing this race. There was a lot of overtaking and stuff. So yeah, as we come up on our final part of our final lap, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, all that jazz. I'm hoping to get better at sim racing over, and I'm hoping that forcing myself to do more races in order to get out more consistent videos will help me with that. Help me with getting motivated to practice more for these events as well. This is probably going to be the main channel that I actually put effort into, but I do have Run for Gaming, which will have a load of stuff going up. It'll be pretty low quality, but there'll be a load of stuff. And ACC RTS, or not ACC, Run for RTS, which won't have anything on it for a while, but if you are into RTS games, give that one a subscribe too. So thank you for watching.
Oh, good one, Bram!
Oh, what a fight. That was cool.
That was
Oh,
awesome.
no.